Good morning. Today is the 14th of October 2024 and I'm going to go through my trading plan and my levels for today. Before we start, let's take a look at the news, which could move the market. Nothing on today. There's you've got the bonds market closed today. Is it Columbus Day in the US? And I think the banks are closed as well, so we may not see too much. So I'm just going to focus really on the first hour of the day. We've got a couple of Fed speaking today, one at 3 o'clock, which could see the market move, and that's about it really. Also, big shout out to Sean Collington. He became my 500th, 500th subscriber, so much appreciated. And thank you to everyone else who subscribed. If you haven't subscribed, please do. Even though I do these levels mainly for myself, the levels are pretty much spot on most days, and you could, I know some people making some decent money based on the levels which I'm putting out there, and I will continue to do that. And it's more of a journal. I like to look back at the levels each day, see where we were yesterday, the day before, and just see how, how I can improve my own trading. And it gives me a accountability as well. So if I put some levels out there and I'm not trading them, then I've got no excuse. I can go back and say, look, these are levels I was watching, and why did I not take them? Okay, so let's get started. We're looking at the 1 hour time frame on the S&P 500 E-mini futures. We're putting in new all-time highs right now. So new record highs on the S&P. We'll go to the Nasdaq shortly, which is not at all-time highs. And looking at the only levels I can really see, it's probably where we've been already, an area we've already been watching as well. And it's this region down at 58.44. I quite like waiting for a bounce down at 58.44 today. If we can push all the way down, I'll be watching this region. While we're above the 50 moving average, which is this red line, and above the 200, we're still got to be pretty bullish, and it's looking pretty strong at the moment. And I'm just seeing if there's anything closer. No, so it might be a day of waiting and patience to get back down to that area. Hard to find a rejection when we've got no previous levels. Got a bit of volume coming in here. That must be volume from, was it Friday? Because this is all-time highs again. So we do have quite a lot of volume. Let's just take a look at the daily. Just going up to higher time frames may just give us a bit more information. So you can see we're pushing up and the volume's declining. So a little bit of a divergence, but still very tough. And I think if we can come back down to this region, which is the area 58.13, so on the daily it might be worth watching for a swing long. We've got our hourly level at 58.40 as well, but all we can do is play trend continuation and a bounce. So for the trend continuation, what I'll be looking for is a pullback on the 5-minute or the 2-minute chart, and I'll be looking for it to pull back a little bit and then buying the setup. Could I? Okay, there's one more level we could watch, and this will be a higher risk watch because obviously we've got not much volume. We've only been up there once before. And if we're looking for a trend continuation as well to try and catch this uptrend, then we want to see it come back down into Friday's highs and then give us some sort of confirmation for the buy setup. So that's one area. That's higher risk, 58.68, and then our higher probability was 58.44, this area. And the reason I like 58.44 is because we've got a little bit more volume. We've got a massive big point of control and loads of volume just below that area, and we've also got tested areas. So we've got pivot highs, and then this is what I like to see, a pullback into that region and then push back up. In fact, that was where I went long on Friday. In fact, I might do a separate video on that because that was a good trade. It was a break and retest of the pre-market high. In fact, it was long on this candle, so I was done within the first hour of the day. And I think that's it really. There's no more. There's nothing really to play. Trend continuation, break and retest of pre-market high. Potentially a break and retest of pre-market low short if we hold below the pre-market low area, which would be this region here. But that would be a high risk because it's against a trend. Just looking at SPY next. I'll go over Orderflow at the end as well for ES. It's looking in line. There's no real major concerns. A little bit of divergence earlier, but not much now. So SPY exactly the same. We've got this buy area, an area we've been watching at 577.64 to 578. So this is a region we can watch for a bounce. We've got bounced there a couple of times on Friday, both during the market and in the post market. So we can watch that area, and then obviously trend continuation. So, SPX. A bounce area. This is an area. Here we go. Is a good. Hopefully, are we looking at the hourly? Hopefully, someone took that bounce because we marked that up on Friday, and with that Friday 12:30 we came in right to that level and bounced from it. So that's the level we were watching. And what is that? That's 5,800 exactly. So that's a psychological number as well. So that's why we was watching it. And we saw a big push up. Otherwise, nothing until we get back down to these pivots. And so it's an area of confidence, tops of candles, bottoms of candles, and that's 57.67. NQ just breaking out of this region, and is it made? Oh, it's made new all-time highs. I didn't think it had. So it's now at record highs. Also, Nasdaq taking out that region, so we can watch for a retest. I do quite like the retest of this region. If we come back down that region, we could also keep an eye on break and retest of the previous all-time high. Or we can look for trend continuation, a little pullback and long. It's going to be a quick one today because there's not many decent levels on the memos to watch. QQQs is a better area for break and retest. I do like this level. We've already highlighted it for a while. So if we come back down into 494 down to 492, I quite like the long off of that. So keep an eye on that. I'm going to actually put an alert in. And that's at the previous all-time high level as well, and it's an area where we kind of sat there for Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and then we finally broke out today. Also notice the volume profile to the right, and we've got this region here. It's a volume shelf, so that could also be act as a bounce area. So what I want to see if it comes in, even if we see a V shape, I'm going to try and catch it as it comes out of that area as well. CL, this is crude oil. You can see we've been hovering between these levels. So we've got this trend line. It's a wedge shaped pattern where we did break below it and then we broke out of it and we're back in inside it again. Probably not valid now, but these levels are pretty much playing out. So watch for a bounce at 72.81, 71.66 off of the bottom trend line, or rejection at 76.33. And we're right in between levels right now, so probably not much we can watch. Unless, I don't like using moving averages as a level, but there is a level of confidence just here. So a break and retest of pre-market low short, maybe on the cards today, so I'll keep an eye on that. Gold. We're right at area of confidence now, even though point of control's way down here, but we've got a lot of volume in this region here. That's our volume area, and we're coming right into that volume area. Still above all the major moving averages as well. We're above the 200 and the 50. Sorry, that's the 200, that's the 50. So we're still above that area, and we're putting in uptrend after uptrend, higher highs after higher highs after higher highs. So we can watch for a pull back into that region. And if we draw the trend line, we're probably right at it now. So this region here is a bounce area. If we can't hold this area, we can watch it for rejection down. But then we've got this bounce area as well, 26. So we had 2660 area for a bounce. Let's mark it up because it is an area of confidence as well. We've got tops of pivots, bottoms of these pivots have consolidated, then broke down, broke up, broke down, retested it, ceiling, then became the floor. So we yet to come back in. So 2660 for the bounce. And again, still hard to go against the trend. We're kind of just going sideways at the moment. RTY is broken out, finally broken out of this trend line, what we've drawn up. We've been in this now since Thursday the 18th September when we came in, and we've been hovering in, and now we've finally broken it, and exactly what we said. It's come down, tested the bottom a few times, and it tested the top, and then we held this area, and it looked more bullish because it's in an uptrend. It's basically a flag pattern if you were to look at that on the daily or the weekly. We've broken out, but we've yet to come back down to retest it, so we can wait for the retest. Let's just zoom in a bit. Yeah, big strong move on Friday with no retest at all. So let's wait for it to come back down into this region and look for a long. Is there any confidence? So it's right into this area of confidence as well. You can see we've got tops of pivots, bottoms of pivots, tops of pivots, tops of pivots, and now another top of pivot. So 2660 break and retest long. So pre-market high, break and retest long is a level. Or if we can't hold that level, we can watch for rejection back down. But I do quite like the bounce at 22.21. YM, which has gone into new all-time highs. And was that today as well? Not quite today, but Friday, didn't quite get there. Looking strong. We pull back to the 20 moving average as well, so we can watch. Let's just draw this level in. This region here. So we can probably watch for it to come down. See, that's a high risk bounce off of the previous all-time high. But I do quite like the bounce in this region at 42,800 for the bounce. And then we can watch for the break and retest of 43,200 area, which will be Friday's high. And then Bitcoin is having a little bit of a resurgence again. And it's finally broken this trend line again. So we did break out here for a few days and came back down, came back, retested it. We've yet to come back down into this region, but we are now back up to this trend line. I did add to my position on Friday. I think I added around about that point. It was at 60,000. I think I missed 60,000 as it came down. You see a quite short period come back out. I think I got around about 61. So I kind of added back in. I took some profits up here. And then I really wanted to come back down to this region, but so I added a little time. It's not a full amount, just a very small amount in this area here. So we'll add that in. And then finally, let's look at ES Orderflow. Going on to my left screen, which is my Orderflow screen. You can see we've got nothing really setting up. We're not near any levels, so it's not even worth me personally. I wouldn't watch it. That's an upward trend. This is an upward trend. We had a little bit of divergence when the market opened, but then don't forget, it's a funny market day today because it's Columbus Day, so there's a few places closed. Putting in new all-time highs in the last few minutes as well. Well, we've been putting all-time highs since 8 AM Eastern time. And there's no real big orders around this area. So you can't even see whether it looks like it's going to reject. Some big orders there, but that looks like the retest. the break and retest and just limit orders being fired. But that's it. I'm going to tread carefully today and may not even trade. It's going to be a difficult one. So I'll probably advise the same. And just to recap the levels on ES, which is all I'm going to be watching today. We're watching for a pullback. This is my primary area. 58.44, 58.50. This area here for a bounce. And that's pretty much all I'm watching for. I may consider a bit of a pullback and then a buy setup. Probably if we re-break a pivot and the all-time high again. But we're right in no man's land now, so there's no levels up here, so we can't. There's no levels for us to watch for rejections. The next logical place up for the rejection will be way up here at 6,000. We're not quite far away from there. And you can probably watch the 5,900. That's would be a psychological level. Let's keep an eye on that one. We've got 5,800 below, which we watch for the bounce. So that's pretty much it. There's not much to do really, unless we can see a bit of a pullback. Okay, thank you for watching.